Reviewers, what is up? I'm going for a social distancing walk in this crazy ass time that we live in. And because we haven't done a podcast in 2-3 weeks, I wanted to do something that I may do on several occasions due to what is happening with this coronavirus outbreak. And that is what I'm calling the quarantine walk report with your guy, the Great Blue Dini, aka Benny Blue, while I wait for some people to join into this. And I think I'm going to also upload this to our YouTube channel. Make sure to search us at JB and Benny Blue. Brady, what's up? I see you. Appreciate you joining us. We're going to talk about, in this quarantine walk report, I'm going to hit you with a bunch of just topics and whatnot because a lot's been going on with free agency and stuff. So, yeah, man, as you can probably gather, everything has been shut down. I mean, a lot of you guys don't listen to the podcast. I do stand-up comedy. I was out of Los Angeles for a comedy festival that actually got canceled when I was there, so that was kind of crazy. And a lot of my friends are also working in the entertainment industry and, have like different day jobs and stuff, so they're kind of feeling the heat. I'm fortunate to where I have my own business and I work from home, so I'm not really feeling it as much as the average person. So for anybody out there that's kind of going through it, or, maybe even know somebody that has this virus, we're definitely thinking about you. So I just want to start off with that as we wait for some more people to join up. But yeah, man, some news, I guess, about the podcast. We'll be coming back soon. JB and I are kind of both dealing with our own little, life stuff. And obviously this virus kind of makes things sort of surreal. Obviously no games have been happening. I know most, if not all, reviewers are sports fans of some kind, particularly NFL. So fortunately, there's a lot to talk about as it relates to free agency and whatnot. But obviously NBA shut down. I'm guessing the draft, it looks like the draft is going to be going on in Vegas, but without any of the activities due to the quarantine. And MLB, obviously March Madness, the NCAA tournament got shut down. So there's a lot of stuff that's been changing, and Lord knows that the NBA season will come back, because this time of year we usually get into more basketball talk and all that. Boxing matches are getting pushed back, all that type of stuff. So it's crazy. So a lot has been happening with the Bird Gang, the Cardinals, and of course my kitties, the Lions. So we'll kind of take it step by step. So first and foremost, I wanted to salute DK, Devin Kennard, for landing with the Cardinals. If you don't know, through his brother, he's definitely got some ties to the desert. And, to be honest with you, I wish the Lions would have hung on to him. I'm guessing it was more of an issue with the type of contract they were going to do, because I thought he was a pretty good player and he was getting better. But if they had to let him go, I'm glad that he ended up with the Cardinals, because I think he'll be a good fit there. I think they've kind of struggled at the linebacker position and kind of been drafting cats that are more kind of tweener players. You've heard us talk about that, particularly with our guy, Sean McConnell, the official Bird Gang correspondent from our guys over there at KSRN in the desert. Make sure to check them out, ksrnarizona.com. So I'm glad that DK was able to land with the Cardinals instead of like the Vikings or some shit. So that would be kind of shitty. But obviously the big news for the Bird Gang is, of course, DeAndre Hopkins landing in Arizona. The simple fact that they have Christian Kirk, of course, Fitz is, I think going into his last year, if I'm not mistaken, still a great possession receiver. The fact that they have DeAndre Hopkins, who you can make an argument outside of, maybe a couple other cats like, Michael Thomas, maybe Odell, if you throw him in there, is probably the best receiver in the league. So the fact that Steve Keim made that deal to get Hopkins, I think, is a great deal and is going to help Kyler tremendously, obviously give a boost to that offense. They have obviously found what they're looking for in Kenyon Drake. and Chase Edmonds, and even going back to the football season, of course, JB and I were talking about, unfortunately, DJ, as much as he was beloved in the Phoenix community, he was going to be expendable with the injuries and probably upcoming contracts. So, maybe it'll be a fresh start. I know the Texans at one point were trying to get Melvin Gordon. Clearly, he's having some issues trying to get a deal that he thinks is favorable. So hopefully DJ can bounce back and have some good production, because Lord knows they're going to need it, getting rid of a player like DeAndre Hopkins. So that's pretty crazy. So that's some of the big news that was coming out of the desert. As for my Kitties, they've made a lot of moves. The running joke is that now they're becoming the Detroit Patriots. Obviously, they got Jamie Collins and they got Danny Shelton, and they actually got Desmond Trufant from the Falcons. But once we got Desmond Trufant, I knew the writing was kind of on the wall. Unfortunately for Darius Slay, who is arguably the best corner in the league, Slay was definitely taking a page out of a lot of these cats' books as far as jumping on Twitter and basically fucking over their trade value by what he was tweeting, basically saying you want to get the fuck out of there. Part of it, I get that, because I just saw an interview that he did with one of the local Detroit outlets, and basically he was breaking down his relationship with Matt Patricia, the head coach, and how Patricia treats a lot of the players. And basically, from what Slay was saying that Patricia just said he was good. He wasn't elite. And obviously, if I'm Slay, and I got the stats to back that up, I would be reasonably pissed as well. Snacks Harrison, the lineman who came over from the Giants that was with the Kitties last year, has said as much, more or less, on social media and whatnot. Quandre Diggs, also who was moved during the season to Seattle, has said as much. So this is very much a make or break year for the Lions. I mean, they made some good signings, and if Patricia can really fit them into his scheme that he had in New England, then maybe he's moving people out that he's basically trying to get the Patriot way in Detroit, which is understandable. But the track record shows people, or coaches rather, who leave Bill Belichick, it doesn't always translate to that championship structure when they are underneath Bill Belichick. So you kind of have to wonder what the fuck is going on in Detroit. To a certain degree, there were good signings, but when you get rid of a guy like Slay, it probably means they are probably going to take Okudah, third overall, from Ohio State, the corner, or they could play cat and mouse and tell the whole league, fuck you guys, we're going to draft Tua, trade up to get the spot. Although I know the Chargers want to get Tua, so it's likely that Desmond Trufant is going to be matched on the other side with Jeff Okudah, the rookie from Ohio State, to come over at corner. So who the fuck knows, man? Detroit, I don't know. I think we always like to talk about what Detroit doing as opposed to what's happening with the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals definitely have a bright future this upcoming season. My Kitties, it's really that kind of like must-win season for both the coach and the GM. So, we gonna see. As far as with bigger things have been happening. Of course, Tom fucking Brady, kid. Your man, your boy, Mr. Beantown in the Bucks. And I got to tell you, JB and I both said that we thought Jameis would be a good fit to go to Pittsburgh and back up Big Ben, because Big Ben is honestly probably on his way out. And another thing, and reviewers, this, ESPN and the hot take shows, they have a way of conveniently talking about shit that we said on the podcast like weeks before we actually say it, right? So one thing that we pitched way before they started talking about it now, is that Josh Rosen is going to go to the Patriots. We said this months ago, that Josh Rosen was going to go to the Patriots, and now it's starting to get churn in the cycle. And to be honest with you, I get why Arizona got rid of him considering what's happened now. But this idea that he's a bust I think that's false. And I think that if he's in the right situation, a la Belichick / McDaniels, I think that would be a better move than trying to move forward with Garrett Stidham or trying to trade for Jacoby Brissett to get him back and all that shit. So don't be surprised if Rosen goes over to the Patriots due to that relationship that Belichick has with Brian Flores. Derek, what's up, man? Derek says, I'll bet money the Rams will win some Super Bowls in the next 5 to 10 years. And yeah, man, Rosen, yeah, I mean, you know what we're talking about with Rosen. As far as the Rams, being here in LA, you saw it coming with Gurley, right? I mean, that contract, I know why they did it, and I think they felt heat for the whole Zeke Elliott deal. You got to remember, he was 2 years left in his rookie deal when they did that deal. So they felt like they had to lock him up. Shit, for what he dealt with, the arthritis in his knee, I mean, that's hard to account for. You know what I mean? So the fact that they release him, they got to take the dead money cap hit. I mean, it's just the cost of doing business. So with the Rams, they re-signed Andrew Whitworth to protect young Goff. They signed somebody else, Leonard Floyd, I think, for a 1-year deal, which I was surprised that it was only a 1-year deal for Leonard Floyd. But I mean, look, man, I think with what you're saying with the Rams or the next 5 or 10 years, I think now this is where Goff has to step it up. Kev, what up? I see you. We're doing some Rams talk on this quarantine walk report. Like I said, reviewers, I'm going to be doing more of these, you know what I'm saying, as we get back in the swing of dropping episodes. But back to the Rams, this is now going to be an opportunity for Goff to really show that he's worth that contract. Because remember, Goff got that chicken. Like, they cashed him out, and they gave him that Carson Wentz range deal. So now if Gurley isn't happening, and you still got Cooks, you still got Woods, but, I mean, as we all know, the NFL's a year-to-year league. So, Goff, you gotta show up, big dog. And they got to see what they can get in the draft as far as running back. And, yeah, I mean, Derek, you're right. As far as with his knee, yeah, can't forget Kupp, too. Kupp's nice. And Kupp, anyone who's listening to the podcast, JB doesn't give Kupp enough credit. And Kupp is nice. Kupp is low-key one of the best receivers in the league. Like, I wish my squad had Kupp, to be honest with you. But he got hurt. People forgot about him. But Kupp is still there. And you're right. He's definitely the security blanket for Goff. But, yeah, that was from what I can understand with Gurley, like what you're saying, Derek, with his confidence. People liked him. People liked him in the locker room. He was a good player. It was just, you could tell that McVay was kind of fucking around in the Super Bowl and during the playoffs when he really wasn't utilizing him. And maybe that's just it. Maybe it's not even so much of his physical ability. It's just more so about how people can use him moving forward. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, that's really the whole argument, right? With how, like, all these cats jumping on Twitter, and I get that these guys want to get paid. I understand that, and I don't blame them. They all want to get paid. The problem is, going back to the Slay deal, Slay's 29, and Slay again, you had a couple other cats in the mix. You can make an argument that Slay is the best corner in the league, right? So he goes to the Eagles, and they have a need, and I mean, it's one of those positions that can degenerate quickly, because if you lose, because you got to think about how they use someone like Slay, right? When Detroit would match up, Slay's role was basically being on every team's best receiver. So now you're essentially paying, every time you do a contract, it's supposed to be on what you think the player can be in a 2, 3, 4 year window. But when you do a contract like they had, that the Eagles gave him, now you're talking about, you're kind of sort of paying him for past production. So if I'm looking at it from a business standpoint, it's hard to know if it's actually going to be a good contract. Do I think Slade deserves the money? Fuck yeah, I think Slade deserves the money. And if he can rob the bank, because you already know, anybody who's watching this or going to see this, you already know that there have been cats who have fucking robbed Fort Knox. I think of cats like Brock Osweiler and people like that who had no business getting the deal that they got, but they still got that deal. And yeah, fucking. So yeah, So interesting. Here's the interesting thing about JB, and if you go back and watch his film, I think JB would hold his own against Aaron Donald. To be honest with you, I don't know that he would eat him up, but I think prime JB would neutralize Aaron Donald. But Aaron Donald ain't a slouch either, and I'm expecting. I feel like last year was kind of a down year for him, and that's a weird thing to say about Aaron Donald, but I think it kind of was. And I'm expecting big things from Aaron Donald this year. I think the Cardinals, are definitely going to have their hands full with him, because that's the thing with the Bird Gang, man. They've had to really try to shape up that offensive line. And by the way, speaking of which, and yeah, like I said, on a one-on-one, JB's crafty enough. Even if you see the videos of him that we put on our page, him training these young cats on the coming out of high school, going to play at the next level. JB's a master technician of technique. He just knows what he's doing. He knows hand placement. He knows balance. He knows how to read the tells of a defensive tackle, defensive end, in terms of how to, at the end of the day, offensive line plays like judo. That's really what it is. It's like judo. You use the other person's strength against them to get them to do what you want. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the thing that is separating, decent teams, good teams to great teams. It's why people made the argument for Tom Brady to go to the Cowboys, right? Because it's like, if anything, his biggest issue was he needed to be protected. And by the way, he's been struggling to get the ball downfield. So yes, he has all these weapons, but he still has to be able to hit them deep. So if he can't make that deep ball, it doesn't necessarily matter all of the weapons that he has. He still has to be able to get it further than a check down. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see, man. I'm glad. I'll tell you what, I know we're all probably going to kind of getting stir crazy in our own ways with all this shit going on in the world. But it's good that we had the free agency to at least talk about it. But Bills are going to be nice, because just to what I was just talking about, the one thing that they have over most teams in the league is they have fucking control of the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Now you add Stephon Diggs, and then you want to talk about a dude who definitely wasn't happy. Once he saw fucking Mr. You Like That, Kirk Cousins, get that extension, he was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Now, I think it's hilarious that he went from one cold as fuck place to Bills Mafia, where it's extra cold, and they play outside. But nonetheless, I think he's going to have a better time. I think the culture is better in Buffalo, and I think Diggs is going to ball out in Buffalo, and Josh Allen's only getting better. Now that Brady has left, and to be honest with you, even if Brady was still with the Patriots, I think this season, Josh Allen's going to cement himself as the best quarterback in the AFC East. Josh Allen's a beast. He is, and he's only going to get better. And the fact that they have a solid running game, other weapons besides Diggs, playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, don't be surprised if the Bills make a big time run this year. Big time. No, I'm not giving them like Browns overhype and shit, but don't be surprised if the Bills really make some actual noise. So look, folks, this has been the first edition of the Quarantine Walk Report. Like I said, because it's been a few weeks and we haven't done a podcast, plus this whole crisis sweeping in, kind of knocking everything off schedule. I know you haven't seen my face, you haven't heard my voice. I just want to tap in with you real quick. I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and then so we can keep watching it. And then, yeah, man, don't, feel free to, hit us in the DM if anything you want us to talk about, because that we come with shit different than fucking watching Stephen A's dumb face scream at you at 8 in the morning and shit. And Derek, I got you on the follow. I appreciate you dropping the topics, because it helps when you're just walking around the neighborhood just trying to get out of the social isolation. So until next time, probably within the next couple of days, new full episode of the podcast coming, I promise you. JB and BennyBlueReview.com. We love you guys. Until then, this has been your man Benny Blue, Quarantine Walk Report, and I'm gone.